Hello YouTube. Let's talk today about the best kind of fish for beginners in the saltwater reef aquarium hobby. So really some of the best examples I think are the ones I have in this 55-gallon tank that I've had going for many years. I've had all kinds of fish in here. You know, I've been doing this for about 17 years where I've had saltwater aquariums of one type or another. So let's just talk about my conclusions and I think the best things for beginners. So let's take a look. I think for beginners a great fish is clownfish. They're very hardy fish. Okay, they're not susceptible to ick. They'll eat flake food, and there's a wide variety of colors that you can choose from, and they're very hardy fish. So what you have to be careful of you know, for beginners is you want fish that are hardy, that don't cost they're too expensive, and you know, they're kind of idiot proof, and clownfish are definitely one of those. Okay, some clownfish are a little more aggressive than others and go well with more aggressive fish like these damsels. Tomato clowns go well with damsels. They're aggressive enough they defend themselves. I probably wouldn't put Percula or Ocellaris clownfish in with, say, a three-striped damsel, which I'll talk about in a minute. They're a little too aggressive. But the Percula or Ocellaris clownfish, or some of the smaller ones, go very well with these Yellowtail damsels. Yellowtail damsels are probably one of the best fish for the hobby. They're very inexpensive, usually $4 or $5. They're the least aggressive of the damsel fishes, have great color, again, very hardy. They don't get too big. This is about as big as they get, about 2 inches. So really great fish for the hobby. Now we have other damsel fishes in here. We have the blue damsel, which is a little more aggressive than the yellowtail damsel. Again, flake food eating, very simple to take care of. They do very well in most conditions, especially if they're not the biggest fish in the tank. And three-striped damsels, like you see here, are fairly aggressive damsel fishes. But you know, these fish all get along in this tank because I give them room. They're not all jammed in here with a whole bunch of fish. So you want to not overstock your fish, and that's one of the major things if you want to avoid problems as a beginner. You know, people who have experience, know what they're doing. You know, you can get away with doing more things, but I don't overstock my tanks. Okay, so three-striped damsel is a great fish if it's not overstocked with other fish, especially fish that are not aggressive. You want fish that swim around a lot, that are aggressive swimmers and eaters. Okay, and then the black and gold Chromis is very much like a damsel fish. Okay, has an aggressive streak. Okay, but again, if you put it in a tank like this, don't put it with non-aggressive fish. Now he's hiding back there, but then I think it'll be fine. The big advantage of another big advantage of clownfish and damselfish is they don't get too big in general, and there are certain kind of damselfish, like the Caribbean type of damselfish, which are super aggressive and would not do very well in a tank like this. You want the Pacific damselfish mostly, unless you have a really big, huge tank with other aggressive fish. So try to avoid the Caribbean damselfish that originate in the Caribbean. Those are super aggressive. Pacific ones don't. But one of the big advantages of these fish is they don't get ick. I mean, I've had other fish in here. I've had tangs in here. I've had the dwarf. I've had dwarf angelfish in here. Okay. I've had other kinds of fish, and ick can be a real problem. Ick is your parasites that get on them, their little white spots. And I've had damselfish and clownfish in a tank of fish that had ick, and they never got it. So that's a big headache to avoid, is ick and parasites, because it can really ruin things for a lot of people in the hobby. And so getting these kind of fish, you're pretty much immune to it happening. I've never seen it happen in all the years I've been doing this with damselfish or clownfish being susceptible to ick. They just don't seem to be susceptible to it. Okay, so that's a big advantage of these types of fish for beginners. And again, they're not very expensive. Okay, and again, I've tried a lot of other fish. I love wrasses. Okay, wrasses aren't susceptible to ick very much, the type that bury themselves in the sand. But they do tend to be aggressive. And what I don't like to do is mix fish that are carnivores with fish that are omnivores. These are all omnivores that will eat meat or flake, But if I had a carnivore in here, I'd have to be mixing in meat, and then I'd have to feed it a lot to make sure it got some, because these fish would eat it too. So the advantage of these kinds of fish, again, is you can just use flake almost exclusively, and you don't have to worry about trying to target feed to certain kinds of fish that have a different kind of diet. So I would try to avoid that as a beginner. Okay, experts, people have been doing it a while, you're going to be better equipped, okay, to deal with those kinds of things. But that's another advantage of these kinds of fish. So for a beginner, these are my best options. There are other fish widely available in pet stores, gobies, okay, other kinds of fish. But again, I would avoid carnivores. I would take omnivores like this that have a medium level of aggressiveness. And as a general rule, try not to have more than one fish per 5 gallon. Okay, that way you can avoid having to do a lot of maintenance on the tank. Like all I do is do water changes. Try to do water changes regularly. I don't have any special equipment or skimmers. And these fish will nibble on the algae. That's another advantage of them. You don't need to feed them very much. I feed them once a day, just a limited amount of flake food, and they do just fine. So you don't want fish that require being fed constantly all day, and fish that clouds your water up, dirties your water. And that's another great thing about these kinds of fish. They don't have a specialized diet at all. It's very easy to feed them, and they'll nibble on the live rock, the algae on the live rock, to supplement their diet, which again makes things easy. So those are my recommendations for beginners. And again, this is for beginners. Okay, so hopefully this helped you out. I did put a link to Amazon on my description box below, and if you like the video and you want to support the channel, just click on the Amazon link, and for 24 hours, anything you buy, I'll get a very small cut of that, and that would help the channel out. So if you're thinking of buying anything, go ahead and click the link and help us out. So hopefully this helped you out as far as what to do if you're a beginner in the saltwater aquarium field. All right, thanks a lot. See you later.